We're going to read another story today about conflict. Okay, just real quick, what kinds of conflict do you remember? Just shout it out. Man versus man. Man, nature, self. One other big one. Society. Yeah, man versus society. Or I like to say man versus the man. So Gilgamesh is a king in Sumeria, ancient Sumeria. This was a poem, and it would have been a song. It was not something that people just said, but something they sang to tell the story.
Yeah, the story was written down 4,000 years ago, but it was told as a tale for at least 1,200 years before that. So it's the oldest written tale in humanity. I'm going to be around seeing what's going on, and I'm very, very happy to be working with Mr. T.
Which, if you look up here, I'll show you where that's at today. Does anyone know? If we go across the Pacific into Asia, you see there's Asia, Russia's up top, China, India, let's keep going, and then finally we land in the Middle East. That's where this story takes place. So Gilgamesh is a king, okay? He's part human, he's part God, and he's been gifted by the gods in like all different ways, except for one. One thing he does not have that the gods have. Can anyone guess what that would be?
Not immortal.
Oh, very good, Taylor. He is not immortal. He will not live forever. Okay. Now, Gilgamesh wasn't a good king. Okay. He was pretty cruel to the people in his kingdom, and that made the gods angry. So one of the gods created this character, Enkidu. Right there. Okay. Enkidu. And he was this wild man created by the gods. He was let loose in Gilgamesh's kingdom to like wreak havoc on the kingdom, to like destroy it. He ate the animals, and he was just like, he was a person, but he was wild. He ran with the animals. And Gilgamesh knew one way to turn a wild man into a tame man. What's the best way to tame a wild man? Any ideas? Well, Griffin nailed it. Nice word. Romance. He needs a girl, right? So I'm going to kind of abbreviate this story for you. Gilgamesh sets Enkidu up with a lady, and it tames him. But then they have a fight over the lady because Gilgamesh wants her too. They have this battle, and Gilgamesh wins the battle, but decides to let Enkidu have the lady, and they become best friends. Totally realistic, right? Happens all the time. So I'm going to start right here. Indeed, Gilgamesh had been granted many divine gifts, but he had not been given the gift he prized most of all, immortality. Gilgamesh was a human, and like all humans, he would eventually die. One day, Gilgamesh was sitting with his dearest friend, the warrior Enkidu, when he declared, "Before I die, I want to win a place among the greatest heroes who have ever lived. Then people will tell tales of my glorious deeds for thousands of years to come, and my name shall live on for the ages." Okay. "Great Gilgamesh," Enkidu replied, "you are already a renowned ruler of a powerful people and a magnificent city, admired throughout the land. How can you achieve greater fame?" Gilgamesh paused. There was an excited gleam in his eyes. He announced, "I am going to slay the giant Humbaba." Okay, let me spell that one for you in case you want to know. Kind of just like it sounds. Enkidu gasped, "Tell me you're not serious." Everyone who's heard of Humbaba quakes in fear at his name. Humbaba has a ferocious face like a great dragon, a terrifying roar like a rampaging river, gnashing teeth like a bloodthirsty lion, and fiery breath that scorches everything in his path. The divine ruler Enlil appointed Humbaba to scare travelers away from the mountain home of the gods, which lies in the deep dark cedar forest of Lebanon, so wild and treacherous that you can enter it and never find your way out again. All that is true, smiled Gilgamesh. Nevertheless, I am determined to track this monster down and slay him. The whole world will talk of my adventure. Say you will come with me, Enkidu. Enkidu shook his head. My lord, I am not yet ready to die, he exclaimed. Come, Enkidu coaxed Gilgamesh. Would you rather wait for death to find you or go out and greet it face to face? I am going to slay Humbaba. Poets will sing forevermore of Gilgamesh, king of Uruk. Enkidu sighed, my king, if your mind is made up, then I shall remain at your side until the very end. So Gilgamesh takes the bravest warriors along with him, supplies and weapons, including a mighty axe, especially forged by his smiths for killing Humbaba. To reach the gateway of the cedar forest of Lebanon, it should have taken 6 weeks of marching night and day. However, with motivated hearts, Gilgamesh, Enkidu, and the warriors covered the distance in only 3 days. Okay. Before they entered the eerie gloom of the woods, Gilgamesh gave a stirring speech. He said, no one who follows me should be afraid. If we die making lasting names for ourselves. We will not disappear into the well of time and be forgotten like cowards. So be of good courage and let us go forward together. Then Gilgamesh, Enkidu, and their brave army plunged determinedly into the forest, their hearts pounding. They marched all day into its depths before Gilgamesh gave the order to stop. He took out his axe and began cutting down one of the massive cedars, a bold ploy to attract Humbaba's attention. In the silence of the forest, the thudding chops resounded like the beat of a battle drum. As the tree finally toppled and fell, the warriors saw bursts of flame in the distance and heard huge footsteps striding towards them. Who do you think they're hearing? Yeah, good. Humbaba's thunderous voice struck terror into their hearts. Who dares enter my forest and cut down the trees of the heavenly mountain of the gods? Answer me and prepare to die. I, Gilgamesh, king of Uruk, have felled your tree, Gilgamesh bellowed back, and now I will fell you with my mighty axe. Gilgamesh branded the axe overhead and charged forwards to meet the oncoming monster. Enkidu roared a mighty battle cry, and he and the warriors followed suit. As they did so, Shamash rewarded their courage by sending mighty winds from heaven against Humbaba. What do you think Shamash is? We haven't talked about him, but or her.
Probably the wind god.
Yeah, some kind of god who can send wind, right? If you can send wind, you're probably a god. The blast beat upon him from all directions and hurled him backwards through the forest until he was held trapped against the wall of his own house. Humbaba struggles and then begs for his life. Okay. Have mercy, great Gilgamesh. I swear that if you let me live, I shall become your faithful servant. But Enkidu shook his head sternly. Do not listen to the cunning creature, he advised Gilgamesh. If you set him free, he will surely never see Uruk again. Gilgamesh listened to his friend's wise words, raising his axe high above his head. He struck Humbaba with all his might. The giant's body hit the ground with an almighty thud, which echoed throughout the great forest for many miles. Gilgamesh, Enkidu, and the warriors returned triumphant to Uruk, not only with the head of Humbaba, but with many felled cedars to make the mighty city of Uruk even stronger. Gilgamesh's faith in himself paid off. He got his wish, and tales are still told to this day of his courageous deed. So that's the story, or at least a little part of the whole story. So what I want you to do is think of that story in terms of conflict. Okay? We talked about the 4 main kinds. And I want you to, I'm going to use the word draw only because I'm not an artist. So when I say draw, I mean just do anything like artistic. And I want you to represent what you think, in your opinion, is the main conflict of this story.
So in terms of the art, you know that Mr. T is going to have you eventually write something about the tale of Gilgamesh. But before you think about writing, we'd like you to draw. And before you pick up any art piece, any crayon color, I'd like you all to close your eyes and visualize what it is that you think this would look like. I've got a confession to make. I'm a terrible artist, but I can visualize what I think it should look like. You don't have to draw it any way at all, except the way you see it in your mind's eye. And the only way to see it is to close your eyes for a second and visualize it and imagine it. So that's the visual spatial part of what we're doing. When you can see it, then you're ready to get up and go get your art supplies and come back.
We draw like the scene of the conflict, or like
Up to you.
is there a right or wrong answer?
Are we starting to draw now?
Not like
And when you're ready, just raise a hand and say, I'm ready to start drawing.
And Elijah asked a good question. There's no wrong answer. Okay, however you want to answer it, the right way.
Oh, wow. Wow, what is that? That's beautiful. What is that at the top? That,
it's a cake for the monster.
oh, very nice. Very nice.
Don't overthink it. They enter the forest. That's okay. They enter the forest.
They chop down this tree.
The cedars of Lebanon. By the way, the cedars of Lebanon are like super famous. Like Lebanon cedars were as well known as Alaska's salmon.
What are you drawing at this point? Show us.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get an idea of how I want to draw it. If I want it to be more realistic or abstract, I'm just gonna draw the fighting scene of Gilgamesh and Humbaba.
And what was in your head that made you ready to draw?
Well, I was kind of thinking of it being a little bit of both abstract and realistic, just
Perfect.
kind of make it in the middle. And I was kind of just imagining them kind of looking at each other, getting ready to battle.
Tina, can you show us what you're doing so far?
Started doing like a mirror.
Oh, ooh, a mirror? I love the idea. Yeah. And who's holding up the mirror, or what's holding up the mirror, or is it just floating?
It's sort of just floating.
Cool. And have you thought of what's going to be in the mirror yet?
It's gonna be Gilgamesh in the mirror.
Gilgamesh.
For you so far?
So I'm doing like when they're going up the hill, or they didn't really go up the hill, but they're going to chop down the tree.
Yeah, so that's one of the
Okay.
secret trees.
And shapes maybe like abstract a little bit.
Where are Enkidu and Gilgamesh and Humbaba going to be in your picture, or are they going to be in your picture?
I don't know exactly yet, but I think they're going to be in there.
Iris.
Iris, hi.
Yeah.
Do you have a lot of images in your head, but you can't get them down on paper yet? Okay, can you tell us what you see in your head when your eyes are closed? Close your eye and tell us what you see with Gilgamesh, Enkidu, and Humbaba.
There are some.
I'm going to come back to you. Okay. And don't worry, because anything that you see is perfect. Have some fun, and I will see you a little bit.
What's your name?
Melody.
And what are you drawing so far?
Forest.
The forest. Can we see that? Can you hold it up and show us? Oh, nice. Oh, these are small, and the looks like the tree's been cut down or knocked over. Wow, I like this already. And that's a big tree. Have you ever been in the forest to cut down trees? It looks like it wasn't just cut. It looks like it was ripped out. It looks like it was knocked over, something pretty violent. Wow, very nice. You've drawn a lot since we were just back here. Tell us what the yellow is.
Well, I thought about what you said about the other kind of conflict and how he wants to reach immortality. So I thought about making some sort of realm of the gods and him trying to reach that status in his life. And that yellow is like the realm, and then he's trying to get there. Just kind of stuff inside of.
And
I have a monster here, and then the two people are standing there with the
Yeah,
axe.
like the Middle East. Like,
oh, I love this. It's like I'm up in the air looking down.
Flexible. But at some point, if you're maybe in about 7 or 8 minutes, if a few of you are far enough along that you feel good explaining it, even if you're not totally finished, or even if you just wanted to explain your idea, right? Even if the artwork is not done, that would be fine. So be thinking about that.
I just started.
That's okay. That's okay, because sometimes the start is everything.
I don't know what it is. That's like the stump, and then I'm gonna draw the tree right here.
That's perfect.
Like,
you can see it. I'm not inside, so I don't see it, but I will eventually. You have to be brave to be able to actually pick up the pencil or the marker and start doing something. So thanks.
That's Gilgamesh, and then I'm trying to do Enkidu, and then I did another Gilgamesh just like him in a shape.
I don't know how many of us will get to the writing part of it today. Maybe a couple.
Smell of cedar is very, very important. Is it used in any of your ceremonies? Okay.
It's still the same idea. I'm just trying to add more detail.
Yeah.
I added kind of like chains holding him down. There's no like possible way. Well, since he's so tiny, it's kind of hard to see, but
Fine.
no, that's. I'm not drawing the face though. Guys.
It's very nicely drawn. Thank you for showing me.
Okay.
It almost looks like it's bars on the door or something.
What else is going to be in your picture? Besides
Yeah.
the-
Wow.
Oh,
It's a really good drawing.
Thank you.
I'm
I'm
showing
showing
the cave with the animal,
Okay.
and then they have the app,
Being immortal.
and then the animal shows up.
Yeah.
do you think it was
Very nice seeing your beautiful drawing, Ruby. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
like a good thing or Guys, we have about 15 minutes or so. I mean, we're flexible. But at some point, if you're maybe in about 7 or 8 minutes, if a few of you are far enough along that you feel good explaining it, even if you're not totally finished, or even if you just wanted to explain your idea, right? Even if the artwork is not done, that would be fine. So be thinking about that. Who might be willing to, maybe a few of you, to talk about your drawing, your creation, and how it reflects what you felt about or think about the conflict in the story.
In my picture, I have the dark trees because they were talking about how the forest is like scary. And then I have this creature in the corner because they were talking about all the creatures and stuff. And versus nature while he's fighting the animal.
There's the monster, and then I don't know what's up here, but it's there. And here's them cutting down the tree. So they're kind of scared props. And that's what I got.
Mine is man versus himself and feels so tiny compared to the immortality that he wants. And that is him. He's chained down because he can't reach it. And that is like realm of the gods and immortality. And he's trying to reach for it. So it's man versus himself.